Okay, I think we can start. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our session. We have participants from Turkey, Italy, Spain, and Lithuania, I think. This evening, our guest is Perchin İmrek. He is an entrepreneur, public speaker, traveler, TEDx speaker, and an English tutor. He has written 6 books so far and been to more than 80 countries. Hello, Perchin, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm very good. So I just arrived to a city called Manzanillo. I'm in Mexico right now, as I told you.
Okay.
Just settled into my new house and ready to speak, ready to be with you guys.
Okay, now so the stage is yours, okay?
All right, fantastic. By the way, if I have any problems with internet connections, please warn me. Is everything okay right now? Can you hear me clearly?
Okay, yes. Yes, it's okay now.
You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
So in any case, if you can't hear me, let me know, then I could switch to 4G. Right now, I'm using the Wi-Fi of my host, but should be all right.
Okay, Perchin,
right.
before we start, let me warn you about the level of English, because our participants are maybe new beginners, so it's better to speak a bit slowly, okay?
I am going to do that, yes.
Okay,
I am going to speak slower.
Okay, thank you.
And one by one.
Okay.
But if you don't understand me for any reason, you can always ask me, Perchin, what did you say here? What did you say here? Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And first of all, I'm very happy to be here. I am very happy to be with you guys. And today, as Rahmi told you already, I'm going to speak about my English learning experience, how I learned English. And as a ESL speaker, which means English as a second language, I think our experiences will be pretty similar. And I'm going to try to make this as interactive as possible, so we can also have a conversation. And at the end, you're free to ask your questions, of course. So first of all, once again, nice to meet you. I am Perchin. As Rahmi said, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a speaker, this is my job. I'm a trainer, I'm an author, and I travel. And right now, I'm in Mexico. So if anybody is in Mexico, let me know. But from what Rahmi told me, we have people from Lithuania. I know one word in Lithuanian, labas. We have people from Italy. Hello, Italians. And we have people from Spain. And I speak some Spanish. So later, if maybe we can add each other. And obviously, we have people from Turkey. And that's the country I'm from. I'm from Istanbul, Turkey. I was born and raised there. And then I studied university in Turkey, in another city. And then I moved to Belgium. I moved abroad. I lived in another country for a while, almost 5 years. And then I came back, but then traveling has become a big part of my life. And now I'm a trainer, a speaker, and I also do my job in English. In Turkish as well, also in English, so I could speak to more people like you, not just Turkish people. And today, as I said, we're going to speak about how I improved my English, how I learned English. But first, if that's okay, I want to ask you too. I want to keep this interactive, okay? So I will ask you some questions, and I would like you to answer in the chat box, okay? So for example, I want to ask you, why do you want to learn English? Or why do you want to improve your English? If it's possible, please write me on the chat box here on Zoom your answers to why do you want to learn English. I would like to hear. So I can also make my speech more adjustable to why you want to learn English. While you are writing your answers, I want to start with my story. I started learning English when I was 7, 8 years old. My father, my mother, they didn't speak English. I started English by computer games. Like back then, I'm 34 right now. We played Age of Empires, Grand Theft Auto. Maybe some of you know these games. And obviously, these games were in English. And I didn't understand them. And I wanted to understand them. So I said, okay, I have to learn this language so I can understand these games. And I started working for my English. In the school, we had English classes, not a lot, but in the school, we were also having those classes. But while I was playing the games, I had a dictionary next to me. I was looking at the words like, what does attack mean? What does defend mean? What does army mean, for example? And each day it started getting better. And then I realized that English is everywhere. It's not just in my computer games. When I go to a cinema with my parents, it's in English. When I watch TV, some of the movies are in English. When I see a tourist in Istanbul, they speak English, even though they're not English or American. A Japanese tourist, a Hungarian tourist, an Italian tourist, when they go to another country, they speak English, because I realized that English is a world language, not just spoken in England or US or some colonized countries. So then I said, okay, this language is a world language and I must learn it. And this was a huge motivation for me. Apart from what I did, it was more important why I did it. So I asked myself the question, why do I want to learn English? And my answer was, because I want to communicate with the whole world. So I could speak to a Lithuanian, an Italian, a Spanish, and a Turkish, or any person from any country. And with this motivation, I didn't need anybody to motivate me. I didn't need anybody to say, oh, Perchin, you can do it, learn it, yeah, go for it, yeah. No. I did all of it by myself. Of course, I took help. Of course, my teacher helped. Of course, the things I did helped. But it was thanks to my constant motivation every day. Because I was like any other person. My parents did not speak English. I got a few hours in the school, nothing special. I didn't grow up in an English-speaking country. Again, I didn't have any role models. But I did it because I realized the importance of it and I understood my why. And you can understand your why anytime you want as well, at any age. It's never too late. And most of you are very young. And how I did it, the answer to that is not very relevant anymore. Because back then I was having those big dictionaries because we didn't have Google Translator. And I was reading a lot of books, like children's book and sometimes adult books as well, even though I didn't understand the half of it, but I was trying. And each time it got better, better, better. And back then, I don't know if you're above 30 years old, maybe you understand what I mean, but we had this big VHS tapes, like cassettes, that we put, and then you could watch something. And my uncle, he lived in the United States, in Texas, in San Antonio. And he was sending us VHS tapes, like Dr. Zeus and some cartoons. And I was watching them, even though I didn't understand them in the beginning. But each time I understood more. And when I watched this, I felt like I was traveling. It made me feel like a world citizen. So doing this and my motivation, soon, in a few years, I was a better English speaker than most of my peers, than most of the people at my age. And then people were like, oh, how do you do it? You're doing it very well, blah, blah, blah. And then I started teaching as well to people, like being a role model. And this was very important for me as well, because I realized the more I teach anyone, like my cousins, someone younger than me, someone older than me, the more I teach, the more I learn, because I repeat it in my mind. And I feel this responsibility that I have to improve myself more so I could teach to other people. So that's also another great way to improve yourself. But now, in today's world, with this technology, smartphones, laptops, applications, it is so easy. The technical part to improve your English is extremely easy, guys and girls. There are thousands of applications. Duolingo, Memrise, Rosetta Stone, Cambly, Linkbay. I can count like 30 more from the top of my mind. And all of these applications are really, really good. There are applications to practice your grammar. There are applications to practice your speaking, to practice your listening, to practice your reading, to practice your blah, blah, blah, blah, blah. There are applications where you can meet with a person from another country and have a conversation. So there's Tandem, for example, and there is Linkbay. Now we're developing an application, but that's another story. So now it is extremely, extremely easy. But then I ask myself, like, why so many people want to learn English, but they can't? Or not they can't, because they don't. And I guess the answer is, again, people do not find their why. They don't ask the question, why do I want to learn English? And they don't have a satisfying answer to it, like I did when I was a kid. So my recommendation to you, first, before everything, I mean, now, if you're listening to me and if you're understanding to me, it means your English is in a certain level. So you're not zero, you're not a beginner. But to improve it, because the better you speak, it will increase the quality of your life, definitely. The job you work at, your projects, your friendships, your international friendships. Ask yourself, why do I want to improve my English? And find an answer that motivates you. My answer was to this question, I want to communicate with the whole world. And I do now. It's amazing. I recommend to everybody. And since you're here at a youth project, that you are youth workers, that you're active, you are the perfect candidate to improve your English. Because I was in the same place with you 15 years ago. And I'm still, by the way, active in youth projects, Erasmus Plus projects, etc., etc. But apart from all the dictionaries and books and everything, for me, the most important contribution to my English level and to my perspective of the world was the youth organization that I was active in when I was younger. I'm still young. I'm 34 right now. I consider that young, obviously. But I have been active in a youth organization called IJ. It's called European Students Forum. I'm going to write it here, if I can. It's called AEGEE. There are a lot of different youth organizations, but I was active in one of those. It was a European youth organization, and it's transformed me as a person, not only about English, but we organized a lot of events in Turkey where we invited a lot of people from different countries. I went to a lot of conferences thanks to Erasmus Plus and government funds, my university's fund. I didn't have to pay a single euro, a single dollar, a single Turkish lira for it, mostly. And each trip, each conference, each project improved myself as a person and as a professional. It made me a world citizen. It made me a person with a lot of high soft skills. It improved my time management, public speaking, etc., etc. And of course, it improved my English tremendously because I started having friends from all around the world. Ukraine, Germany, Azerbaijan, Armenia, Italy, Spain, doesn't matter. And our common language was, guess what? English. I was in a conference in Serbia. It was like a Greek person, a Polish person, a German person, and me. We were speaking English. It's a world language. And each time I went to these conferences, I spoke, I asked questions, I interacted with people. My English level got higher, higher, higher, higher. It became a part of me. It became a part of my body, like my arm. And not only the technical part of English. I didn't only improve my grammar or vocabulary or speaking or reading. Of course, these are important, but there's one thing that's more important. It is your perception. It is the perception that you understand that every person is a person regardless of their nationality. You see every person as a human being, not as Italian, Spanish, Greek, Turkish. Of course, we have our national identities, and that's okay. But once you understand that everybody is a human being, and we all have similar problems, similar ideas, similar hopes, similar things that makes us happy, then now in the future, your vision, your perspective will be much higher, will be much wider. You will not just say, okay, Istanbul, okay, Turkey, or okay, Lithuania, okay, Spain, okay, Italy. You'll say, okay, the world. I can do whatever I do and share it with the rest of the world. Like Elon Musk, like Jeff Bezos, like Bill Gates, like Malala, like I can count thousands of people. So it's not only about improving your English, but it's also about improving your capacity, your mentality, being a world citizen. And I guess you are like that because you are right now here at a youth project in an international environment, spending your evening listening to me. So my youth work, my youth organization work, my volunteer work changed my life tremendously. It had helped me improve my English. It helped me improve my skills. It helped me improve my perspective about the world. But when it comes to English, apart from everything that I said, I can give you a few suggestions about how you can improve your English. A lot of people think to learn English, it's very complicated. There are like secrets, that there are short ways. No. As in everything else, improving your English has some basic rules, basic things that you need to pay attention to. And if you do this, you will improve your English. If you don't, you won't. Simple. So I want to give you a few more suggestions about how you can improve your English. And then we can slowly move on to the question and answer session. So we can also have a conversation. Because I have been speaking for about 20 minutes, I don't want to speak too long because I know it's hard to listen to someone for a long time. So my suggestions, apart from everything I said, are: number one, work regularly, every day, because that's how the brain works. It has to be a habit. My suggestion, I'm also an English teacher, by the way. Every day, spending 15 and 20 minutes around, but doing it every day is much more effective than studying 2 hours one day and then nothing for 4 or 5 days. It's like doing sports. You exercise every day, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and it's better than exercising one day, 3 hours. It's too much. So every day, regular practice, 15, 20 minutes. Read, watch a Netflix series with English subtitles, speak to someone, listen to a podcast. You choose. Try to do something different every day, but do it every day, 15, 20 minutes, not more. Because if you do more, you will get tired. You will get exhausted soon. So it's better to keep it regular and little by little as a habit. It's much more effective, believe me. Not only English, everything else that you want to improve. My second advice is make English a part of your life. So English shouldn't just be something that you study in a book. Have international friends, watch English movies, play games, read English books, travel if you can, attend to youth projects. Use every chance to make English a part of your life. Because now I practice English 2, 3, 4 hours every day. Now I'm practicing. When I speak, it's my practice. but I'm not studying. It's a part of my life. So everything that I do is a natural study, and it's a natural exercise for me. So the more you make it a part of your life, the better it will be. And surround yourself with people that are interested in this, learning languages, improving their English, so you motivate each other. Third, I have already said it, find your why. Ask yourself the question, why do I want to learn English? Why do I want to improve my English? Because a lot of people, they think they have to learn English, but they think that because people tell them that it's important to learn English, you should learn English, blah, blah. But when somebody says something to us, it's not motivating for us. We have to believe it ourselves. So learning English is important. We all know that. But we have to ask ourselves, why do I want to learn English? And we have to find an answer that motivates us, that makes us wake up in the morning and study and make English a part of our lives. The answer can change from person to person. My why I'm learning English is because I want to communicate with the rest of the world. That's my why. So sit down and write on a paper, why do I want to learn English? And write the answers that comes to your mind and that motivates you, that makes your heart beat faster. It's like, yeah, I want to learn English because this, yes, it motivates me. This is an amazing start. My fourth suggestion is get out of your comfort zones. I believe you are already doing it. You're in an international group, you're listening to an English speaker. This is out of your comfort zone. Because I know it's exciting. A lot of people are afraid to speak English. They're like, oh, what if I make a mistake? Oh, I used the past tense. I should have said I will go, but I said I was go. Oh my God, no, I will never speak English again. That's okay. You can make mistakes. That's fine. We learn by making mistakes. There is no problem with making mistakes. Nobody will laugh at you. Even if somebody laughs at you, who cares? It's like a baby, little baby, learning how to walk. The baby and starts walking, bam, falls, again, 10 times, 20 times, 100 times. But every time he falls or she falls, they say, okay, I have to improve this. I have to be more careful, blah, blah. And each time it's getting better. So don't be afraid of making mistakes. And each time, and learn from your mistakes. Don't repeat your mistakes all the time. Just go, okay, I have to use the present tense here a bit more effectively. The pronunciation of bottle is not bottle, it's bottle. Okay, I got it. And yeah, this is how I use a phrasal verb. Blah, blah. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you can improve your mistakes. But do not be afraid of making mistakes. That's the best way to learn, to improve your English. And last suggestion is enjoy. Enjoy it. Enjoy learning English. English will improve your life, improve the quality of your life tremendously. And it is not a destination. It's a process. Enjoy the process. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy making mistakes. Enjoy meeting international people. Enjoy having friends. Enjoy speaking English. Enjoy listening to English. Enjoy watching English. Enjoy traveling. Enjoy every part. Don't make it boring for you. Don't make like, exercise 5. I hate this. If you hate this, throw it away. Do something else. Do the things that you enjoy doing. Not every part has to be fun. Life is not like that. But enjoy the whole process. Even enjoy the boring moments. Because it will take you to a place that you will really, really, really enjoy. Make it fun for yourself. Understand your learning way, your learning style, and try to make a program for yourself according to your learning style. These are my 5 suggestions. Work regularly, every day. Make it a part of your life. Find your why. Get out of your comfort zone. Enjoy. As I said, I did not speak English when I was a child. I didn't grow up in US. I didn't grow up in London, UK, Australia. But now I speak English fluently, like a native speaker. Almost completely thanks to my own effort. Of course, I used technology, I got help, I had good teachers. You can always get help. But this inner motivation started everything. And now I can speak with the rest of the world, like I'm speaking with you. So one day you can speak with the rest of the world. You can speak to a young group of people from different countries and you can inspire them. You can share your story with them. And that is amazing. And even if you don't do that, whatever you do, English will improve the quality of your life, personally and professionally. Because learning English is not a luxury. It is a compulsory thing if you want to improve your quality of your life. Don't forget that. But again, while you do this, make sure that you enjoy every minute. Because English is not just about learning the grammar, the vocabulary, the tenses. It's much more than that. It's understanding songs, understanding movies, making international friends, doing your business all over the world, meeting with people all around the world, having an open mind, being a world citizen. And this is amazing. This is something you cannot buy with any amount of money, not with millions of dollars, guys. And I think you are in an amazing place. As a youth worker from different countries in the world, you're here listening to an English-speaking person with other people all around the world. This is how I started. And now I'm in a very happy place. I do a job that I really like. So I wish the same for you. And not only here, if you have any questions, anything that you want to ask, feel free to ask me all the time. I wanted to share my story with you a little, and I hope that it was inspirational for you. Thank you very much. And Rahmi, I give the word back to you.
Okay, Perchin, can you see the messages? Can you see the questions in the chat box?
Let me check.
Now?
I'm opening it. I just see your message, but apart from that, nothing else. No?
Because when we're writing the message, because I also made a mistake. We need to I can choose the person, because I can now at the moment I can see all the messages, but probably you don't see the questions.
No, but yes. you can tell me, and that's okay.
Because for example, Carmina said just in order to travel comfortable. She said, Ramon, English is used worldwide. These are the reasons for them to learn English. Carmina, to understand songs, to manage in cities abroad, to understand explanation in museums. Volkan, to interact with different cultures and communicate foreigners. Lavinia, I want to be able to fluently communicate about everything with everybody, and I'm curious about foreign languages. And yes, Talha asks you a question. How many countries have you traveled so far?
I have traveled to 83 countries so far.
Yes, if any of you has any questions, please raise your hand and we can give you a chance. You can raise your hands. In the reactions part, you can see it. And you can directly ask your question to Perchin, okay?
That would be my pleasure.
Okay, Volkan, Nagihan, yes?
Hi, I'm Volkan, I'm Nagihan, and this is my husband, Volkan. Hi, from Vizirköprü. We are English teachers. I want to ask you that, what can you recommend us for the vocabulary of a language, of English or different languages? I'm in old school. My teachers taught us taught me that you should memorize, you should learn by heart, you should memorize everything. But except this, what can you recommend us to learn the vocabulary, the necessary vocabulary?
Thank you very much, Nagihan, and good to meet you too.
Nice.
Well, I don't agree with that notion that you should learn things by heart in Turkish ezberlemek, because like actually in English, learning by heart is a different meaning, because like you internalize it. So I would recommend people to internalize the words that they learn. When I learn a new language, because I like learning languages, instead of learning it automatically, like table, masa, refrigerator, buzdolabı, I try to put it in a part of my life. So basically, you're an English teacher, so obviously you have experience in that, but reading, listening, watching, also depending on what kind of learner are you, these will always reinforce. But what I do when I learn a new word, I make sure I write it down, and preferably by hand, because hand has a better connection with the subconscious. So I write the word down, for example, table, masa, and then I use it in a sentence. And I also write the English version of it, like table, a piece of furniture you can put things on. And then I write the cat is on the table. And then I draw with my terrible handwriting, a table and a cat on the table, and I show it with arrow. So once I do this, I don't forget it, because I have reinforced it 4 or 5 times at one time. And then when I watch a Netflix series, when I listen to a podcast, when I speak with a friend, when I hear the word table, I'm like, I know this word. And then I never forget. Or also when you have it in a part of your life, for example, German was the first language that I was learning after English. And I was in Hamburg for 2 months for that. And I was with a German family. I remember the story when the kid of the family came to the house, and he was like, he asked me something and he said, Überraschung, Überraschung. I'm like, what is Überraschung? I checked the dictionary, this big dictionary with the L, Langenscheidt. I was like, what's Überraschung? It's like, surprise. Surprise? What is it? And then because the kids, they're not patient, like he didn't wait for me to understand. He went to the refrigerator and then he took a Kinder Surprise. So he wants the Kinder Surprise, but in Germany, apparently they just call it surprise. And I never forget this word because it has been a story. I have lived it in a story. So these 2 ways have always been the most effective for me, because it's like you write it in your heart. You'll never forget it.
Exactly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
Let me see the chat. Somebody wrote me 83. Yes, it is 83 as a number. Yes.
Yes.
I have traveled to 83 countries, and right now I'm in Mexico.
Okay, Perçin, let me ask you a question. Yes, you are in your 30s at the moment, but what was your dream as a young boy?
That's a big question. Let me narrow the answer down as much as possible. Well, as a very young boy, of course, I had a lot of dreams: be an F-16 pilot, be a horse jockey, horse rider, blah, blah. But when I had a more adult brain, obviously, I realized, I understood that I always wanted to have an international life, that I loved speaking with foreigners, that I loved interacting with people all around the world, that I loved traveling. And since a long time, actually, my dream was to do the job that I wanted. I remember in my 20s, I wanted to be a trainer. And that was also thanks to my youth organization experience, because I was giving a lot of trainings there. Like I was receiving a lot of trainings and I was giving a lot of trainings, speeches. And I said, I love this. It would be great if I get paid for this. And after a while, I tried different things, corporate life, the army, blah, blah, blah. But then I said, okay, I want to be a professional trainer. And this was the direction that I had it since the last 5-6 years, where I go to different countries and I give trainings, I give speeches there, and I get paid for it. It's amazing. So right now, honestly, I'm living my dream.
Okay, any other questions?
Zehra asked a question on the chat, I guess. I just saw it.
Okay.
Let me read it. Wait. Which one of the countries you have affected you very much, that you have visited affected you very much? Well, I think after traveling a certain amount of countries, you find something beautiful in all of them. However, I think with some countries you connect more, and there is no like explanation for it. You just connect. For example, Mexico, the country I'm right now, is one of the countries that I feel very comfortable. Spain, Italy, Greece, like the Mediterranean countries, because it's similar to our culture. India, I went there twice. I volunteered there as an English teacher in 2010. That was an interesting experience. Japan was an interesting experience. So basically every country affects me in a way, but these have been the countries that have influenced me the most. So it doesn't matter for me if the country is more beautiful, more developed, more civilized. It's more like what is my experience there? And I had amazing experiences in these countries, even though I had sometimes unpleasant experiences, but all of these experiences, they taught me something. And this is something that I would never trade for anything else.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for the question.
Okay, Perchin, when did you first go abroad? In which year?
My first trip abroad, I come from a middle-class family. They were neither rich nor poor. My father, he went to Paris when he was young. And when I was 7, he took us, my mother and me, to Paris. We were there for a week. That was my first trip ever, Paris. And then we went to London 2 years later. I was a bit older, like 10. So that was, I could speak some English. And then when I was 13, I went to the United States, where my uncle lives, to San Antonio, Texas. So these were the first 3 trips that I did as a child. And then I did my first trip as an adult when I was 18 to Amsterdam for a youth project. And of course, these trips were a big deal for me. And I guess that's where I got the travel virus. So these trips showed me that the world is much bigger than I thought it was. And it was an amazing opportunity for me to open my perspective about the world. So I'm always very thankful about it.
Okay. Yes, Kısmet.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, of course.
Okay, good. I would like to thank, first of all, my question is, actually, I'm a prospective English teacher. And apart from studying in Cyprus, I haven't traveled to another country. Actually, I was also a little bit late to realize that joining projects, getting out of our comfort zone is quite important. But do you have any suggestion for a confused English teacher? You also said that you are also a teacher. How did your journey start?
Well, I think everything I said so far is an answer to the question. I teach English, but I'm not an English teacher. Like, I give private lessons, but I don't work with a school because of the lifestyle I chose. But I enjoy teaching English. But of course, if you want to teach something to someone, first you should learn. A lot of my English teacher friends, because in the university I studied English language and literature, so I could officially be a teacher. Now, most of my classmates, they're English teachers, and they tell me, I am forgetting English every day because I'm teaching past tense every day. I can't do anything more. But there are some teachers that do more. There are some teachers that are in youth projects, there are some teachers that travel, there are some teachers that do projects funded by the government with the European Union. So yeah, keep on doing what you're doing. Like, the fact that you're here, it means that you're interested in extracurricular activities. And I think doing those extracurricular activities is the best way to start. And it's never too late. I mean, from your voice, I think you're between 20 or 30 maximum. So, I mean, even though if you would be 30, 40, 50, it's not late, but it is never too late. So just my suggestion is that be thankful that you know about this and your awareness started now before you passed away. And from now on, use every single opportunity to improve yourself. And obviously to become a better teacher. I'm sure you're a great teacher, but you can be better every day.
Thank you.
Paula?
And I have a question. What can we do to overcome the block when we speak English?
There is not one single answer to that. It depends on the situation, it depends on the person, but I guess, as I said, not being afraid of making the beginning of it. And being afraid of making mistakes, generally it comes from a very deep part of our subconscious. Like a trauma that we had when we were younger. Like somebody laughed at us, somebody made fun of our English, somebody criticized us, and we came to the conclusion, if I don't speak, it's better. Because if I speak, I will make mistakes and people will make fun of me. People will not like me. I will be alone. So we have to invest in ourselves enough emotionally and mentally so we don't have these negative thoughts, and we understand that making mistakes is perfectly fine. And it doesn't matter what other people think of us. And once we have this mentality, and once we get out of our comfort zones each time, and we're not afraid of making mistakes, and we learn from our mistakes, then this is the premier way, this is the basic way, this is the best way to do that. But again, it depends on the person. So I think a person who is terribly afraid of making mistakes should look inside and understand why are they so afraid. And if the person knows himself or herself good enough, then they will understand that the fear has nothing to do with the reality. It is probably a cause of a past trauma that we had. And once we get out of our comfort zones, and once we push ourselves, and once we make mistakes, we will realize that life doesn't end. We do not die. We just improve. And once we understand that, the path to being better every day begins.
Thank you.
Yes, any other questions? Okay. Volkan, Nagihan, do you have any questions?
Yes.
Another question? Okay.
Yes, I have
Let's
a
go.
question. First of all, I want to thank both of you, Rahmi and Percin, for this event. My question is that as a secondary school teacher in a rural area, we have some difficulties about to make our students ask why. Why should I learn English, or why should I learn a language, a new language? I think it is a very important problem for us and also for our students. And what are your recommendations for us to make our students ask why?
It is difficult, Volkan, because also like as Turkish people in a lot of nations, we are not raised up to be critical thinkers. In our culture, it's more like, okay, just agree with what your parents say, agree with what your teacher says, agree with what your boss says, and don't criticize too much, don't think about it too much. If you criticize, you'll be outcasted. So this becomes a muscle. So it really requires a lot of, well, first of all, initiative from the kid or the adult. And again, parents have a huge role and teachers have the secondary role. For me, for example, in the high school, our teacher once brought an American person, a friend, and he gave a little speech to us. That was a very important moment for me because I was like, wow, there are other people that I can communicate with learning this language. We were watching movies in our school. And now it's easier, obviously, like we were listening to podcasts, we were watching some informative material. And each thing that we did, it made me realize more and more, okay, look, this is why I want to learn English. Because this I can only understand if I speak English. There's no Turkish version of this. Or reading books. So again, I think it also depends on the child. Like I think it's a mixture of genetics, bringing up, family, but I think the teachers can do their best by exposing them to the world, offline or online. I mean, now you can open your laptop and ask a friend from another country to give a speech to the children, like an Italian, a Spanish, for talk to them 15 minutes. And for some of the child, for sure, will say, look, there's another world out there. I want to communicate with it. So the more you do these things, I think the more children you're going to touch. Maybe not all of them, but that's never the case. but at least with children that has the willingness and the tendency to do this. So I think exposing them to that world with the help of technology, obviously, would be the best way. And also maybe talking to them about the opportunities that they can benefit in high school and university, Erasmus Plus projects, youth projects, APS programs, etc., etc. Because there are a lot of opportunities out there that gives funding to people, especially from disadvantaged communities. So researching them and knowing about them and helping children to know about them, I guess that would be a better way. Because if a child goes to a country with a youth project, like by a child, I mean, like, I guess above 14, 15, but this person will come back a completely different person after interacting with 50 people from different countries. So again, there are a lot of opportunities, but obviously as teachers who are working there, you know better than me. These are just my experiences that I had, and it really helped me. So I hope these comments are useful, Volkan.
Okay. Emine?
Thank you so much.
Okay. Good evening to everybody, and thanks, Perchin, for sharing your experience with us. I don't have a question, but I just want to say hello and talk a bit. Here are my 10 students from my school, and I'm really happy that they are listening to you. And I have no problem with my students, and they are very aware of the importance of English and learning a foreign language. But I have a problem with some authorities. That is my biggest problem. And I wanted to share it because today, you know, at high schools, there are departments at the age of 17. You choose departments according to the universities you want to study. And still today we have problems to make possible to open language departments. I really have problem with my headmaster, with the authorities, because they say in Vezirköprü we don't see much tourists. So why the students need English? So they still have this way of looking. That this is the biggest problem I really face. And I'm working here for 16 years. My colleagues know me, Rahmi and Nagihan, Volkan, we all work together. And in 16 years, I had a lot of projects like Comenius, Erasmus, and I traveled to some countries with more than 100 students, but still, we still have this problem. They don't see the importance of the language. My problem is not with my students. I love them. They know it very well, but my problem is with authorities. I wanted to share it. And thank you for talking to our students. And this is a great chance, I think, because they don't see much people talking English. So this is a great experience. Thank you for spending time with us.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. And as you said, generally the system doesn't allow us to improve ourselves because they don't want a lot of people that thinks critically, that questions what's happening, and that improves themselves. So yes, generally we cannot rely on the authorities, like unless it's Finland or Norway or Canada, like a few very exemplary countries. So it's up to us to break through that barrier and teachers like you. So I would like to congratulate you for being an inspirational person, and not just a teacher that goes and teaches the class and gets the salary and goes back home. So good job.
Thanks.
Okay, Perchin, I know that you are also giving online courses, foreign language teaching courses from your profile. I want to ask you, what's the importance of using ICT, I mean technology, online, for example, meeting channels in English language teaching? What do you think about it?
I mean, with everything, I mean, now it's obvious that, especially after Corona, how important this has been. Like, there are people from 4 different countries here. So we could have gone through all the effort on flying to the same place, visa, blah, blah, blah, flight tickets, carbon footprint, and be together. And I could give the speech and we could have this event. Or we could all turn off our cell phones, which we almost all have, and open Zoom and do it here for free. without any carbon footprint, without any cost, without any time waste. Of course, being together is nice, like it's good synergy, but it's not always possible and it's not always sustainable. So this is a good example, right? So now, especially after the Corona, I am moving a lot of my courses to online platforms like Udemy, Teachable, YouTube, Spotify, so everybody can access. I love giving training face-to-face, speeches face-to-face. I love that. But you cannot access to every single person with that. Like in a room, you can only have 10 people, 20 people, 100 people. Okay, let's speak to a stadium, 50,000 people. But online, you can speak to 1 million people in the same time. Or if it's recorded, like YouTube, etc., billions of people can watch it at the same time. So you can touch so many people. I have been giving private English lessons since 5 years, and I've been doing it online for most of the time. And now, after Corona, a lot of people understood how valuable online is. It's also better for the world, as I said. Like we reduce our carbon footprint by not flying and traveling and consuming so much. So in the future, people will start meeting again for sure, but it will never be the same. So technology will be used much more. And while we have the technology, yeah, let's use it. Not only as a teacher, also as a learner. If you have the phone, you have the access to any kind of information in the world. You can learn anything. Of course, it's nice to practice sometimes, but you can get very close to practicing in real life with your phone. Again, it just requires the things that I told you: regular work, inner motivation, blah, blah, blah. So it is and will be an indispensable part of our life, information technology.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Any other questions? Sergio?
Yes. Firstly, I'm sorry that camera doesn't work here. We are all in the school with my students. I just want, I don't have any questions, but I just want to say that it was a pleasure to me and for my students. We have the break now because we till 11:30 will be here. And so I want to thank you, Rami, and teşekkürler. Güle güle.
Teşekkürler. Teşekkür ederiz. Biz teşekkür ederiz.
Grazie mille. Sergio.
Bye. Have a nice time.
Okay. Thank you, Sergio. Okay. Any other questions? Volkan?
Yes, Rami, can I make you, well, not a question. Can you listen to?
Have so.
Okay, now I can be talking. Yes, Carmina?
Yeah, okay.
Yes, yes,
So
I can hear
just
you.
want to communicate you that my students are completely pleased with the speech. Thank you, Pertin, for everything you have told us. I think that you have encouraged them to continue their classes, which is very important for them. And I think that the speech has been marvelous. Thank you very much for both
You're
of you.
welcome.
Thank you, Carmina.
Thank you for your contribution. Okay, your attendance.
And Lithuanian team wants to say a huge thanks also and to Rodney and to speaker, and not only the adult part of our Erasmus, but also my school children who joined you to listen
Okay.
to.
Thank you.
So
thank you very much.
so much, actually. It was
Thank you. Thank you, Ramon.
inspiring.
Thank you, Ramon.
Thank you, Ramon.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. Okay, yes, Nagihan, yes, it's your turn.
It's my turn. What do you think about language learning? Is it a special talent or can everybody learn as many languages as he or she wants?
No, it's not a special talent. Maybe like 5% helps if you have more, if you have a bigger tendency. For example, if you have a good ear, it's easier to get words, it's easier to pronounce words. But like 90% of it is through work, is through regular work. So if you do consistent work, you can learn as much languages as you want. Again, there are people that speak 10, 15, 20 languages. And it all comes down to understanding your style, making it regular and making it a part of your life. So like that, you don't only have to learn English. You don't have to limit yourself to English. You can learn 5 languages, 10 languages, even more. So it is not a special talent. Unless you have a very big like learning difficulty, which might happen, even with people that have learning difficulties, like dyslexia, they do learn by hard work. By regular work, you can learn things in a very short time as a very big part of your life.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, Yusuf.
Hi. Can you hear me now?
Yes, Yusuf, we can hear you.
Yeah, this is not a question, by the way. I just want to say hi. And Perchin, thank you for your speech. I really enjoyed listening to you. And our journey of learning English is very similar. I also started learning English by video games, playing video games. And I wanted to communicate with my other friends, other foreigner friends. So that's why I learned English. And greetings to you, my Nagihan teacher, and also Mrs. Baisal. Yeah,
Amazing.
that's all I want to say.
You speak very good English, Yusuf. Congratulations. And I'm glad that our stories are similar.
Thank you. Yeah, they are very similar.
Great.
Okay. If there are no questions, I want to ask my last question. Or before me, okay, Kısmet. Okay. Yes, Kısmet, go on, please.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can. Okay, go on.
Okay, good. Actually, I want, as I know, you know at least 5 languages. So I wonder if your English, if other languages deteriorate your English while learning more languages.
I didn't hear the question completely. Can you repeat the question, please?
Of course. As I know, you know 6 languages. So
Yeah.
I don't know which one is the first one, but I wonder other languages deteriorate your English or another language while learning the next one.
My like queue of learning languages was, apart from my native language, English was the first, and then I started learning German because I had it in the school. I went to Germany for a few months. Then I learned French because I moved to Belgium, and then I learned Spanish because I have traveled in Latin America a lot. I have a girlfriend from Peru, and then I learned Russian, not very good, but still some, and because I went to Central Asia a lot for work. And I understand some Italian, Portuguese as well because of French and Spanish, but none of these languages are as fluent as my English. Like English is almost like my native language now because I also use it for my work. Other languages, but I don't really need them as much as I need English. So I focus mostly on English.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Kısmet.
And Perchin, as I understand, you have done a voluntary service, right? European voluntary service.
Different voluntary services in different countries, yes.
Yes, okay. And my question is, yes, I know that you have taken advantages of European Union opportunities, right?
Very much.
Yes, and our project is also supported by and granted by the European Union, and thankfully, and with thanks to our country and also other European countries for giving us a chance to realize our project, English and ICT. And do you recommend young people to take part in, to be included in voluntary service, European voluntary service? Because we know that you don't pay anything. You don't pay anything from your pocket to be included in these kind of projects, right?
That is correct. Like, thanks to all these opportunities, and of course, me running after those opportunities, I have been to so many countries, I have met with so many internationals, I have been to a lot of conferences, I have improved so many skills that I couldn't buy with millions of dollars. I don't think I need to tell this group of people, be active in Erasmus Plus youth projects, because you are already active. But maybe you can motivate other people to be active, because there's a lot of money that is ready to be funded to fund young people, especially disadvantaged young people. There are so many opportunities to make people world citizens and to make them successful people, productive people in the future. I am one of these examples. Many of you are one of these examples. So while you have these opportunities to interact with people around the world, go to a country, attend a conference for free, of course, you need to put your effort. It's not free. You need to show dedication. You need to do hard work, but nothing comes from your pocket. I remember going to Latvia for a youth project when I was like 20, and I spent only €5 for the whole trip to buy souvenirs. That's it. Everything else was for free. And my friends were busy saying, "Oh, I cannot go abroad because it's so expensive." I didn't pay anything because instead of complaining, I looked for opportunities and I went for it, and I deserved it. And here I am. So yes, not only yourself, share this with other people, because there's enough for everyone. Don't forget.
Okay. Now it's been nearly 1 hour, and let me take a last question. If you have any questions, a last question, then we can finish. Okay, Perchin and our participants, friends, thank you for participation in our session this evening. And Perchin, thank you for your invaluable contributions to our project. And I hope to meet you one day face to face.
Hopefully.
Okay. Let me give you the final word, Perchin.
Thank you very much, Rami. Thank you very much for organizing it. All the teachers, thank you very much for bringing your students to it. Everybody who attended here and spent their 1 hour listening to us, thank you very much for your effort. Thank you very much for your attention. It has been my pleasure. If you have any questions, you can also feel free to add me on social media. You can always write me. I'm happy to share my knowledge. I learn more when I share. And it's amazing to be speaking to these people from all around Europe, Lithuania, Italy, Spain, Turkey. Thank you very much.
Okay, yes. Greetings from Turkey to other friends in other countries and also here in Turkey. Good evening.